Ladies and gentlemen, a warm welcome to Preston Parsons up against Trevin Giles this weekend. Preston, good to see you. How good did it feel to get that first UFC win under your belt? And do you feel settled in now? Do you feel like you've got your feet under the table?
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm seeing a lot of familiar faces. The poster signing, the nutritionists, and pretty much everybody is pretty familiar faces. So it's a lot better now that I'm kind of getting more comfortable and meeting these guys, and they remember me, I remember them. So it's a lot different than the first fight.
Trevin Giles, loads of experience, big guy for 170. How do you feel about him as an opponent?
I think it's a good matchup for me. I think I see some holes in his game that I can exploit and that I can take advantage of, and I definitely see or think and believe that I can get the victory.
Where do you see yourself overcoming a guy like him?
I see some holes in the stand up. He definitely has a fast jab, a hard straight right, a good low kick. He definitely has some good tools, but on the feet again, I see some holes. And then obviously in the wrestling department, I think I can get him to the floor. And then as far as jiu-jitsu goes, I don't think he has too much for me on the ground once we do get down there.
What's the biggest difference you've noticed about the UFC since you've been here?
And how professional they are. Everything's on time. I get 3 meals a day, little snacks. I get they take care of me and my corners. It's just professionalism. I fought on the regional scene for years, so just there's a big jump in professionalism.
What's the most important thing for you when it's all said and done? What do you need to have gotten done in this game?
I achieved the 170 belt. Get past this guy. I'm not looking past him, but win this fight, win a couple more, and get a number next to my name, and then eventually fight for the belt.
When you were a kid, were you messing around like pretending you're in the UFC, pretending you're a world champion? How long has the world champion in the UFC goal been a thing for you?
I would say since I was about 15. I was always into boxing and combat sports in general, but I didn't really know what MMA was until I was around 15. I'm 27 now, going to be 28 this year. So I've been at it for about 12, 13 years.
What do you think's your best characteristic as a fighter and as a guy when you're in there?
Just being well rounded, being able to strike, being able to go for takedowns, being able to grapple, being able to do a little bit of everything, not just being one dimensional. So I think I'm good at mixing it up, and I do best when I'm able to mix it up.
Who's the main man for you when you were a kid?
I would say Joe Lozon was one of my favorites growing up. When I was first got into MMA, Frankie Edgar was the 155 champ, and I started my career at 55. So I watched a lot of him and him and Gray Maynard's battles, and him versus Benson Henderson. But I would have to say Anderson Silva was the greatest around that time, and John Jones was just coming onto the scene.
How do you feel about the division right now? Are you pleased to see it kind of get refreshed at the top? Do you think Leon Edwards is now the rightful champion? Kamaru Usman, maybe time caught up with him?
Yes, I like Kamaru Usman. I was kind of rooting him for him for that last fight. He commentated some of my fights back when I fought for Titan FC when I was a little younger. So, and he's been champ for a long time now. So I've been visualizing myself fighting him and beating him for a long time. So it's kind of rooting for him, wanting to see him win, so I could be the one to one day take that belt from him. But it is good to see it kind of refresh, like you said. The 170 belt was just on the line last weekend. Now I'm fighting at 170 this weekend, so it's I don't know how many. I don't think there's any other 7 years on the card, so I'll have to put on for the welterweights.
Is Leon Edwards a more straightforward fight than Kamaru Usman?
Yes, but Kamaru Usman is just a master of those basics. Like his jab is so good, his wrestling's good. His don't see much of his jiu-jitsu, but he kind of nullifies all that with his wrestling. So
Leon
I would
doesn't.
say Kamaru is better.
Sorry, Kamaru is better.
I still believe that. Yeah, Kamaru is the better fighter. But even though it's hard to say that after he just lost twice in a row, but I think if they ran it back for a fourth time, I think Kamaru would get the win.
Leon's not having any of this Colby title shot. What do you make of that situation? As the champ, should he have a say?
I think so. But I think you should fight whoever they tell you to fight. And I know Colby's a big ticket seller and runs his mouth a lot, talks a lot of crap. So I think Leon Edwards would smoke him. So I think it'd be a good fight for him. But it seems like he doesn't really want to take that fight. It seems like they're kind of pushing that fight on him a little bit more than he wants.
How do you feel about that side of the game? Colby seemed, I mean, the rumors are right that in 2017 he was going to get cut and then he decided to put on this persona. How do you feel about that? Do you embrace that side of the fight game and selling fights and being a bit of a personality? How do you approach it?
I think it's good. It's entertaining. I enjoy watching him fight. I tune in to watch him fight more so now that he runs his mouth than when he did before. But I don't really do too much of that myself. I mean, I'll respond if guys are talking trash, but I guess I'm not really at that high level yet where there's a lot of trash talk going on. Like me and Trevin haven't said a word to each other, haven't even seen each other yet. So I'm kind of looking forward to weighing, just that way I can at least see him and kind of get a read on what he's like and how he's going to approach everything. But I think it's entertaining. Like I said, it's fun to watch. I tune into those guys, especially when they talk a lot of crap like Colby.
Do you feel sorry for Belal Muhammad with what he's achieved in terms of his resume?
Yes, I think that he's done enough to where he should be in the talks for a title. Like I think Leon said it, that there's guys that have been fighting and winning and working their way up the ranks, and then out of nowhere, Colby's inactive for a year and a half, however long, and then just immediately gets a shot at the title. But again, it's entertainment. I'm not gonna say who should fight who. I think they should fight whoever. He should fight whoever they put in front of him.
There's still some guys from the old school in this division, you know, that have been around, like Stephen Thompson still in there. We've still got Jorge Masvidal. Is there anybody who you just love to fight because of they're an OG and how long what they've given to the sport? You know what I mean?
I would definitely love to fight Jorge Masvidal. Stephen Thompson, I've always been a fan of him. He's just humble and good, talented. So Jorge Masvidal, I would do very well in that fight. But again, this is my third fight for the UFC, so I got to work my way up to that one. But that would be kind of a dream fight for me, or him, Robbie Lawler, like you said, the old legends that are still fighting this weight class. I've always been confident that I could beat Robbie Lawler, so that would be a cool one too. But I don't think he's been active for a while though. He's been about a year
Was
since he fought.
was it Nick Diaz's last fight?
I want to say so, yeah, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
Or
legend.
maybe the last one I think I watched was the him versus Ben Askren, which that one kind of stopped prematurely. I think Robbie was kind of winning. Well, not prematurely. I guess Robbie didn't test it that much, but I don't know. I think that if that would have went a little longer, that Ben Askren was in for a world more hurt, opposed to getting just slammed and cut open like he did.
Gonna wrap this up with a little quick fire as I always do about your UFC colleagues. So who is the hardest hitter pound for pound in the UFC right now?
I would say Alex. I'm not very great with names, but the guy that just beat Israel Adesanya, Alex Pereira. Yeah,
Good
I would say
choice.
he's probably the hardest hitter right now.
Best wrestler.
Best wrestler. I watched the fights this past weekend. Who looked really good. I all time great. I got to give it to John Jones. I think he's the best everywhere. But I'd say straight wrestling. Uh, that's a tough one. There's a lot of good wrestlers and all across the board as far as weight classes. But let's just say all time. Let's say GSP.
Right now, in terms of active guys, who really impresses you the most in terms of their wrestling?
Uh, that's a good question. Let's. I don't have an answer for that one right now. To be honest, I'm trying to think of names guys that go out there and wrestle a lot. Um, this card this past weekend, there was a guy on there that was just really good wrestling and hasn't had very many takedowns stuff. Drawing a blank on his name right now though.
Jirashvili?
Yes, yes. Let's go with him.
Who is the funniest?
I've got to give that one to Jorge Masvidal. He's pretty funny. Honestly, watching him talk crap is hilarious.
Who's the most annoying?
Colby Covington. I'm sorry if that offends anybody. I have training partners and friends that train with him, but he's definitely the most annoying to me.
Who's the best looking?
Probably go with Macy Barber on that one.
Best dressed?
Give that one to probably Kamaru Usman, even though it's looks kind of silly sometimes, but Conor McGregor for sure. Number one, Conor McGregor.
Who would you most like to have dinner with?
Conor McGregor.
Who would make the best movie star?
Once again, Conor McGregor.
And who's got the best fight IQ?
John Jones.
And who's got the best hands?
Uh, I really like, honestly, they're not the best, but for me to watch, and personally, I like watching strike. I'd say Justin Gaethje, even though he gets hit a lot, so it's hard to say it's the best hands, but it's fun to watch him throw.
It's like a truck as well. And who's got the coolest tattoos?
Coolest tattoos. Let's go with Alex Pereira again. I like his and kind of the design he has set up.
Who would you most want by your side in a street fight?
John Jones. He's big
And
too, so that helps.
he's big now. And who's the most interesting female fighter?
I like Jessie Jess. Instagram, she's Miss Jessie Jess. I don't know why. Again, I'm drawing a blank on her real name. Jessie or
Rose
Jessica.
Clark. Jessica Rose Clark.
Yes. Yep, that's it. I knew that.
And finally, who would be your dream fight in any weight class, past or present?
Anderson Silva.
You'd fight Prime Anderson Silva
yeah.
in your prime. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, my prime. I put on a little bit of weight, maybe.
Quality. Mate, I wish you the very best of luck. Good to speak to you. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Thank you for your time.